Good afternoon, traders. This is a live trade recap. I took two trades this morning right at the market open, arguably my best trading ever. Does that mean that I made a whole bunch of money? No, absolutely not. In fact, I committed to making that point. Even if both of those trades failed, I already knew that this was some of my best trading ever, if not my best trading ever. And I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. Let me just show you my screener really quickly. I like to show you how I pick my stocks in the morning. So click on the little screener icon, click on my screeners, and then I use my mid-cap screener. Make sure you click those three little dots and click modify. Otherwise, your filters will not be applied. So then I organize the list by volume, and I'm only looking at the stocks with the highest volume. So the stocks on the first page, they must be trading up higher than they were previously, and they also must meet a lot of chart criteria. So none of these guys here at the top met any of my chart criteria. BlackBerry wasn't on there, so I'm not sure about that one. And let's see if, so GSM was the one that I traded. Even though it's way down here, it's still on the first page. It's still trading higher than it was yesterday. It's above 2%. Let's take a look at the chart and see why I traded it. So here I am going through all of those stocks that you saw at the top, and notice that they're below the 200 MA line on the daily chart. That immediately calls for rejection of those stocks. I cannot look for entries on those no matter what, because if they're trading below the 200 MA, then they are likely in a downtrend. So DVAX, that was the first one that met my daily chart criteria, but it never broke out over its previous high, which came from the pre-market. So there was no entries to take there. It stayed on the list, though. I was watching it. And here's another one, DADA, below the 200 MA. So nothing to look at there. TME, same thing. Plug, same thing. GSM, so here's GSM. And you can see, obviously, it's trading above the 200 MA on the daily chart. And the previous high is, I believe, 896 or something like that, 894 maybe. I'm going to mark it out in just a second. And it looks like at this point that I've already missed my first entry. That's kind of what's going through my mind right now. Here it is, 885. 884 is the previous high. 885 would have been my ideal entry. Actually, no, sorry. 885 would have been the break of the previous high. My ideal entry would have been for the break of this red candle here. So I mark all that stuff out here in just a moment. So there's the previous high. Obviously, the price has broken out through that previous high. So if I was watching this in this moment, my entry would have been right here when this candle broke out above that candle. So the fact that I missed it only means really two things. Either I missed the trade entirely, which means that if I would have gotten my ideal entry and based on the stop loss from that entry, did the price reach my 2-hour target? That's what I'm checking right now. This is all part of the plan. You have to check this stuff. And if you've missed it, you've missed it. And my plan says that at that moment that I just stopped trading for the day because I missed a 2-hour trade on the stock of my choosing, basically. So here is that blue line marks out my ideal entry. And you saw on my 2-hour calculator that the profit target would have been 929, or is 929. It still could hit it at this point. So if the profit target gets hit, even though I'm not in the trade, then I have to stop trading because I already missed the 2-hour trade that I was looking for. And that's just good discipline, because now if I realize something like that happened, I miss it, and I start to look for another trade, what do you think is going to happen? I'm more likely to break my plan. I'm more likely to enter a weak setup because I might be feeling FOMO or frustration that I missed a good trade. So instead of risking all of that, if I see that I missed a good trade, then I would just stop trading. That's not what happened in this case. So let's take a look. So now, since it's not hit my profit target, if the price comes down to this ideal entry, 891, it has to come down to it on the penny. I have to see that in this bubble. If I see that, then I can trigger my hotkeys to get in, because it's the exact same trade as if I would have gotten in back here, right? Because I would just be riding all of this movement, waiting for either my profit target to get hit or my stop loss to get hit. So it makes absolutely no difference whether I entered on this candle or I enter if the price comes back down to this level a little bit later. It's the exact same trade. So here, let's watch this, because when I was watching it live, I never saw 891 on the bubble, and eventually you saw the candlestick hit that 891 level. It probably happened so quickly. It looked like it did a little bounce there. I did not see 891, and therefore I did not trigger my hotkeys to get in. So this is like a real test of my discipline. This is what I mean by this is probably my best trade ever. Even though this trade ended up failing, the second trade did win. I still consider this one of the best trades I've ever taken, because that is very tough to see the candle come back down to your ideal entry. You already missed it once. Now you've missed it again, but kind of on a technicality, right? I didn't miss it. It's because my strategy, my plan and everything tells me to watch for the price on this bubble. And once I see 891, then I'm supposed to trigger my hotkeys. 891 never appeared there. It's like the price oscillated too quickly and 891 never appeared. So now I have to either let it go, if it goes back and hits that profit target, or if it comes back down again and I see 891, then I can try again. So let's see what happens here. 893. So my fingers are on my hotkeys already. They probably have been for a long time at this point, and I'm just watching that price bubble. And as soon as I see 891, then I'm going to trigger my hotkeys to get in. So let's keep our eyes out over here. You have to focus super hard when this type of thing, there you go. So you saw 891, it actually dipped down to 890. I triggered my hotkeys instantly. Let me back that up and show you that one more time in real time. Let's see here, right here. Well, actually here we go. 894. 893, there it is. And then you can see I triggered my hotkeys pretty much instantly. I don't think I could have done it any faster. And again, moving my stop loss up as quickly as possible to where the original stop would have been, because this is the same as the original trade, right? So the stop loss is at 872. I use my 2-hour calculator. You could download that if you're interested at patreon.com/tradingarmor. And that gives me my profit target, which is 929. So notice that I ended up giving myself the exact same trade that I wanted from the beginning. So the execution on this was perfect. It could not have been better. So now, is this trade going to work or not? Let's see. You already know the answer to that if you've been paying attention. Let's just fast forward. This is just me going over to my swing trade and adjusting the stop loss. So let's fast forward here. Not looking good so far. And I get stopped out. And again, that's to be expected based on, I've done, let's see, 88 trades now with this plan, and my first trade fails a lot. And I'm going to address that. Let me give you a little teaser into what to expect in the near future, is I'm going to be test trading small cap stocks, low float stocks. And I have already adjusted this plan and applied what I've learned to this plan and made it even, I would say, more strict because of the volatility of small cap and low float stocks. And one of the things that I'm going to change is my first trade criteria. So this trade that I took here would not even be allowed in that plan. I'm not going to tell you exactly what that criteria is yet until I start trading that plan. But this trade here would have never happened in that plan. So, but mid caps are a totally different story. So I was a little bit maybe looser on the criteria to take the first trade. And so far, it's starting to bite me now. Toward the end of this test, that first trade is starting to cost me money. Originally, it was break even or a little bit profitable, but now it's kind of ebbing to the other side where it's costing a little bit of money. That's okay. I mean, that's why we're test trading. We're learning how this system works and if it's profitable or not. And the second and third trade are much more profitable than the first trade. And now that we know that, we can do something about it. So that's the beauty of test trading and not just taking someone's word for, this is a profitable system or this setup has a high probability of working out, that kind of thing. Track the trades yourself and figure all that out for yourself. So now my plan says that I have to look for the next entry, and that's as soon as a 1 minute candle makes a new high. So let's fast forward. And now this red line, let me explain this. This red line is the point A of the ABCD pattern. And if that line is broken on the way down, then this whole trade is failed and I just stopped trading for the day, even if I only got that one trade in. So let's take a look at what happens here. So I'm just watching the high of the candles so I know where my entry is going to be if one of the candles gets broken. Okay, so here it is. So look, I'm hovering over this candle here. None of these are double tops, so none of them have been broken. And the high of this candle here is 872, so I'm looking for 873 or better. You can see this wick is going right above it, but again, I never saw 873 in the price bubble. So the price action was moving very quickly at that level, and 873 never got registered, I guess, by the price bubble. I don't know. But either way, I need to see that. There it is, 873. Once I see it, then I can take the trade and, again, move my stop loss up. This is definitely a consolidation area here because you could see the tops of these candles are at the same level. So this is kind of like a consolidation and into a reversal. If it was more of a direct reversal, then I would just put my stop loss below the previous candle. But in this case, I put my stop loss below the consolidation area. And again, using the 2-hour calculator to get my 2-hour profit target. Now the trade is done. There's nothing for me to do here. I don't sit here and watch it. I just go and go about my business. I have my phone right next to me. So if I get dinged and I find out that, okay, my stop loss got hit again, I could come right back and take the next trade. So let me fast forward because this took a while to play out. So again, it's not looking good here. It's going sideways for a long time. It's an interesting wick. Fast forwarding though, so it probably looks even weirder. Okay, so here we go. Now we're seeing something. I wasn't even sitting here at this moment watching this. And there we go. Get hit right at my 2-hour profit target. So this is another great example of your plan and your discipline, sticking to your plan and using your discipline to allow it to work in your favor. So the first trade failed. The second trade went to 2R. So at least theoretically, I'm up 1R in the day. And we're not trading with full position size, so we don't really see that reflected in the P&L. But again, you take note that, yes, I am aware my first trade fails a lot. And that's kind of part of this current testing and strategy. But now that we're getting very close to the end, we only have 12 more trades to take. I'm not going to change anything at this point because it's going to screw up the data. I want to complete these 100 trades. We're going to take note of how often that first trade failed, and everything is going to change with my entry criteria once I start the next test. So you'll see that very shortly once that begins. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions about this trade, about this plan or test strategy or anything like that. It's all available on the Patreon page. That's patreon.com/tradingarmor. And as soon as I start my small cap test, I will be uploading a plan for that test as well. So as I said, always trade with a plan, stick to it no matter what. Always take your stop losses, honor your profit targets, and in the long run, you should be green. Take care.